Wonderful. So we're continuing Matthew's Gospel and the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus giving us the new law, the law of the new commandment, the law of the Gospel. And he's given us, actually, in the center of that there, the golden rule. It's in the Old Testament, appears a number of times, and it also appears in other religions. So always treat others as you would like them to treat you. That is the meaning of the law and the prophets. Actually, the version in the Old Testament and in many other places is a negative version of it. Don't do to other people what you would not like them to do to yourself. And Jesus is changing it and putting it in the positive. And just as an example to help us to think about that, what the difference might mean for us. I don't know if you've noticed all the violence in many of the cities in the US, and in UK we had a bit of violence as well, some rioting. And foolishly I saw one clip that was of somebody being beaten up, and actually it was horrible. It was not a nice thing to look at all. And I saw another clip, but I managed to make sure I didn't to turn it over before I saw anything, thank God. But even just before things started, even what I did see, I just thought that looks like the situation would be horrific, terrifying. If I was the person surrounded by these violent people, terror would not be, would be a small word for what I'd be feeling. And so if we take the golden rule, do not do to others as you would not want them to do to you, I think that's how you phrase it, let's consider that you're that person that's surrounded by a mob, and you know you're going to get beaten up. And if I was the person passing by, seeing you surrounded by the mob and about to get beaten up, don't do to another person what you'd not want them to do to you. Okay, he's about to get beaten up. I won't join in and beat him up, and I'll walk on. It can be interpreted as a way of allowing people to do evil. I won't do that to you, so, but they can carry on. It's not me doing it. And a sin by omission occurs, because what Jesus teaches us is the positive version, to do the good. And we see that lived out in the Old Testament. So if you're the person surrounded by the mob, and I see you in danger, your life threatened, do to others what you would like them to do to you. Would you not want me to come to your aid? Would you not want me to try to help you in some way, to prevent you from being beaten to death or whatever it might be? And this is a situation that we see in the Old Testament with Hezekiah and the people of Jerusalem. They are being surrounded by a mob. Sennacherib, the king of the Assyrians, is there, and he has surrounded them, and he is going to absolutely pulverize them. They've already seen what he's done to the people of Israel in the northern kingdom, where he has destroyed everything and carted everybody off us. And God steps in. God steps in, and they're free. And the Lord expects us to do the same. Do to others what you would want them to do to you. I would want you to save me. I need saving. And if we're to do that, actually sometimes it might be difficult. I might need to step in and possibly end up getting hurt myself in order to save you. That is the narrow gate. the hard path. The easy and broad way is to say, you know what, it's none of my business. I won't join in kicking your teeth in. I'll just go on my way. What we're being asked to do here is actually what Jesus teaches in the new commandment. Love one another as I have loved you. And God sees us about to be, or being beaten to death by sin. And he steps in to rescue us. And in doing so, that we might live, he himself is beaten to death. He is the one who is killed. That is the example. Greater love has no one than to lay down their life for their friend. And what proves that God loves us is that even while we were sinners, even while we were hating him and rebelling against him, even while we were his enemies, he still stepped in front of the mob and took the beating and laid down his life so that you and I might have life. Through his wounds we are healed. Through him we are saved. And what we celebrate here is that saving action. Here at the Eucharist we give thanks because he has saved us.